The latest Pompey news, updates every day from the Pompey Sound news desk.
"We are staying up," was the chant from the travelling Pompey fans, and you couldn't mistake it. It was a world away from the usual gloom you find on social media, but for those who were there, it made perfect sense. The away end had been in fine voice all afternoon, easily drowning out a strangely quiet Derby crowd. Maybe the home fans just expected a comfortable victory. You couldn't blame them, really, given John Mousinho's side had picked up just a single point on the road since their goalless draw at St Mary's back on September 14th. That frustration was clear in the stands. You could feel the tetchiness every time Derby's back three held onto the ball a second too long, a feeling only briefly broken by the relief when Matt Clark would ping another perfect crossfield pass out to the wing. So full credit to Pompey for frustrating John Eustace's side with the kind of grit and determination that thankfully seems to be back in their game. Aside from a stunning Callum Lang goal, which Mousinho later called their best of the season, it wasn't exactly a free-flowing performance. It was a classic case of digging in, especially for the last 15 minutes when they had to scrap for everything. The passing was sloppy at times, giving the ball away cheaply, but you couldn't fault the heart, effort and attitude. They fought for an old-fashioned, hard-earned away point, and there's no shame in that. In fact, other than a brilliant stoppage-time save from Nicolas Schmid to deny Patrick Agyemang, Pompey's defence largely kept the Rams at bay. The Austrian keeper had a surprisingly quiet afternoon. It's no wonder the home fans were so cranky at being held to a 1-1 draw in their last game before Christmas. This wasn't how the script was supposed to go, and it's no wonder the away support showed so much love for their team's effort that, for the first time this season, they felt confident enough to sing about staying up. After getting 4 points from the last 2 games, no one thinks it's going to be smooth sailing from here. After all, the Blues are still just 1 place above the drop zone. But this gutsy point at Pride Park was enough to convince the travelling faithful that all is not lost. It's amazing how quickly the mood can change. When Pompey were 1-0 down to Blackburn last weekend, they were second from bottom and Fratton Park was starting to feel toxic. Fast forward about 125 minutes of football, and Mousinho's name was being sung as loudly as ever. These last 2 results haven't been pretty, but they've stopped the rot and brought in 4 crucial points. More than that, they've provided a bit of hope just in time for Christmas. This was a team in freefall, and now they're starting to climb again. There's still plenty of fight left in this group, even before the January cavalry arrives. These 2 results haven't changed the transfer plans. A striker, 1 or 2 central midfielders and a left-back are still on the wish list. Many fans would rightly argue they need to look at the wings and the centre of defence too. Mousinho desperately needed these points to keep things ticking over until he could strengthen the squad. Not just for the team, but for his own reputation. Some had started to give up on the head coach who has, for the past 2 seasons, managed to exceed all expectations. Being cut adrift before the new year would have been a disaster for morale and for attracting new players. This point at Pride Park could prove priceless. Pompey actually started brightly, opening the scoring after just 6 minutes with a fantastic team goal. The move began with Schmid, and ended with Colby Bishop's deft layoff into the path of Josh Murphy, who found Callum Lang on the right. The former Wigan man cut inside, took what felt like an eternity to set himself, and then unleashed a left-footed rocket into the net for his second goal in as many games. But Derby hit back right on the stroke of half-time. Joe Ward got the better of Jordan Williams, and whipped in a dangerous cross. As both Patrick Agyemang and Hayden Matthews slid in, it looked as though Matthews got the final, unfortunate touch, to divert it into his own net. That's how it finished. And as the Pompey fans sang, "We are staying up," you had to admire their optimism. After the fight their team has shown in the last 2 matches, you can see exactly where it's coming from.
Yeah, a decent enough result, I think. Making sure that we stopped the rot away from home. We've had far too many losses away from home, particularly with the way that we conceded late on against Swansea, and Derby being a really good side, particularly at home. So pleased with that, and pleased with large parts of the performance. I thought we were really good in spells. Obviously, going to have to soak up a bit of pressure, and there's always going to be A little bit in terms of that set piece pressure that built as well, but I thought we dealt with that really well. And to be honest, I thought particularly in the second half, sort of half an hour, I thought we played some really, really good football. Didn't quite create enough. That's probably my biggest criticism, but showed a lot of composure throughout the game. Yeah, it was really pleasing from a number of aspects. Not least because I think we, at times when we were struggling last year, the default was to be more direct, and we thought that's the best way for us to go. I haven't felt it's worked at times this year, and we are adaptable in terms of playing style and what we wanted to do. You can see today we wanted to try and play a little bit more. I'm not relentlessly to pass the ball out the back and try and put 50 passes together, but actually to maybe invite the press a little bit more and then go beyond with the athleticism we have at the top end of the pitch. So, and you've got to take the rough with the smooth. We conceded a couple of chances from it as well, but the goal was excellent. Probably the best goal I've seen this season from ourselves. They've got a really sort of aggressive style and very, very aggressive on the press, and there's a couple of ways you can go about that. Maybe go beyond early on, but if you look at the back three, Langas, Sanderson and Clark, extremely dominant aerially. You can supplement with Elder or Forsyth coming at left wing back. That's a hard ask, I think, if we're going to go direct all game, and particularly with the two boys who played in the middle of the park, not the biggest. So yeah, it was something we thought might work, and thankfully it did. The composure, I thought Derby struggled to press us, particularly in the second half. They couldn't get a huge amount of pressure on the ball. We didn't come away from home, and as the game went on, having conceded at half time, think, okay, we're just going to have to sit in and soak pressure up. In fact, the big any spells of pressure Derby had, I thought, when they did go more direct, and maybe conceded sort of set pieces, throws, free kicks, corners, etc. So yeah, really pleased on the whole. We went through the goal and where it came from, and we'll do that again on Monday, because I think it was really important, because we were in possession of the ball initially, and we gave away a free kick, but we're going to be disappointed with the nature of pretty much every goal, but obviously it was a decent enough move from Derby, but we need to do a lot better. The pleasing thing for me was going back in at half time with everybody disappointed because of the fact we had conceded in a spell actually where we were the better side. I thought the game sort of went, we scored, but then Derby were better than us after that, and we had to find a solution. And then in the last 15 minutes of the first half, I thought we were much the better side. We had a couple of breaks. We had the chance with Terry at the top end of the pitch, which we don't convert into an actual chance itself. And yeah, I thought that game against a run of play. So that was tough for the boys to take, but they dug in the second half and actually came out very brightly. Yeah. It was great. Everything that we spoke about, I thought the lads did, so credit to them.
There were good vibes spreading out across the Portsmouth-speaking world in the immediate aftermath at Derby. The feel-good factor began to solidify, providing a near-perfect consensus that Pompey may have turned the corner. It was a hard-earned point that was well won by a performance that was professional and passionate, and topped off with what John Mousinho described as the goal of the season. Callum Lang's execution of the goal that gave Pompey a 5th-minute lead was so impressive and authoritative that it completely stole the limelight from Josh Murphy's outstanding assist. Pompey's left winger is gaining an increasing reputation as a provider of crosses into the 6-yard box for Pompey's arriving troops. On this occasion he steered a fast, flat crossfield ball, perfectly weighted for Lang to take in his stride, as he used the space provided in the channel between Derby's left-sided centre-back and left-back. The pass had perfect timing, speed and direction, but left Lang with plenty to do, having 2 men backtracking between him and the goal. He bobbed and weaved his way around them, not even considering going for a soft penalty. He waited patiently and with confidence until the gap opened up, and his left foot strike, which may or may not have taken a slight deflection on its way into the net, sent the 2,000 travelling fans into ecstasy, as the exploit happened right under their noses.
John Mousinho has made it clear he wants to keep Callum Lang at Fratton Park, especially after the attacker scored for the second game in a row in Pompey's 1-1 draw at Derby. But while the head coach is desperate to hang on to the fan favourite, he admits he's in the dark about where the club stands on Lang's contract situation. Lang's current deal is up at the end of the season, though the Blues do hold an option for another 12 months. The situation is similar to that of goalkeeper Nicolas Schmid, who put pen to paper on a new contract on Friday that will keep him on the south coast until the summer of 2029. After finding the net again on Saturday, Lang gave everyone another reminder of just what he brings to the team, and Mousinho couldn't be happier with him, saying, "You are asking the wrong person about contracts. Although Langy has been brilliant, I think you know my thoughts on Langy. What he did for us when he came into the League One season, then 10 goals by mid-February last year. Now he's come back in and made a huge difference to the side. Callum is playing out of position as well and has scored in successive games. He's absolutely superb. I am sure that everybody above will be looking at what we can do with that. Honestly, I don't know the latest, that's the beauty of my job, but absolutely I would like to keep him. I love him to bits. Cal's happy, the manager added. I don't think you're going to get that level of performance if he's not happy. He is unbelievable. You will know if he's not happy, you know when he's happy. All I go on is the fact he works his socks off, he's playing out of position, and he's scoring goals. So that's great for me.
If any of the moneybags clubs, and it's the sort of thing that Wrexham might consider doing, or Ipswich say, if any of them are eyeing up Lang, then they'll be aware of the fact that Lang and Josh Murphy are more or less a double act. Those two goals had an identikit look about them. The goals that Lang has scored in the last two games had an identikit look about it. Murphy knows where Lang is going to be. Lang knows where Murphy's going to put the ball. The result is goals. So if anybody is sniffing around, we could maybe offer them a buy two, get one free deal. But I, at the moment, haven't got any players in the squad that I would be happy to give away as part of one of those bargains closing down sale offers. No, to be serious, we've got ourselves two very potent wide men. One of whom is a specialist left winger. The other one is the sort of pocket version of Terry Devlin, isn't he? He plays where he wants. And he's almost scoring goals, or at least getting in a goal-scoring position whenever he wants, which is great for us. So let's enjoy Christmas. Bring on QPR. On Friday, 24 hours before the Derby game, I asked Steve Bone for his thinking about the way the game might go and his prediction for the score.
I just hope, you went away from that Blackburn game last week thinking that was great, big win, much needed, we just need to build on it. You think back to the Millwall game 3 weeks earlier, we went away with the same thought after that, thinking now can we just go and grind something out at Sheffield United? No, we didn't, we couldn't, It was terrible, and we then lost at home the following Saturday. This time it would be nice, and I was looking back at our previous wins this season. We've only had one a month, so it didn't take long. After two of our previous 3 home wins, we followed it up with a good solid away point. We beat Middlesbrough at home and then went to Southampton. We beat Middlesbrough at home and then went to Leicester and got a good draw, and we beat Preston early season and then went to Southampton and got a draw. I'm just hoping, and I'm predicting, in fact, that's what we're going to do again, and we're going to go to Derby and we're going to grind out a nice 1-1 draw. Colby Bishop's going to score, and we'll all be happy for at least another week.